We are live here at the offices of Scarce City. I am your host, Chris Tremount, Chief Executive Pleb at Scarce City. Holy moly, we have a huge event for you today. The headline, of course, is none other than Wells Fargo in Flames by Alex Schaefer. Alex will be joining us shortly to talk through his background, his banks in flames, and this piece specifically. Before we bring him on, I want to give you a good idea of all the auctions in play. Not only do we have this original painting auction running for about 72 hours, we also have a t-shirt for anyone who wants to participate in the Wells Fargo in Flames fiasco, but doesn't have the wall space. Maybe the original is out of their price range. You can have it on a t-shirt. Now, this is a special sale. The way this works is you can see the price moving up as t-shirts are being sold. You need an invite code to buy these within the first hour. I will be sharing one with you shortly. It's also available in the Scarce City Banter channel if you want first look at it. Current price is 109,000 sats and moving. It's about 37 USD. The price increase is 1,000 sats with each sale. If you want to place an order, press buy now. Just put in your t-shirt size, your shipping address. After pressing checkout, you'll be directed to pay a Bitcoin invoice. You can pay on Lightning or on chain. And that's it. We'll get this t-shirt to you as soon as we can. Of course, it is made to order and customized, numbered. So it will take a little bit of time to get these to you, but rest assured they will arrive. And shipping is included in the price. So get in and get early. The invite code for the live streamers is, let me make sure I have this right. I'm going to copy paste it so I don't screw it up. It is the only thing banks are good for, pens on chains. So put that in there with your shipping address and your t-shirt size, pay with Bitcoin on chain or Lightning, and you'll get a fresh t-shirt for yourself with Wells Fargo in Flames. All right, what else do we have going on? Not only do we have Wells Fargo in Flames, original and t-shirt, we also have a Casascius coin, 2013 brass. 0.5 Bitcoin, half a Bitcoin is loaded on this thing. It's been loaded on there since 2013. We're going to get into the details of this with Vizik, who is a Bitcoin collector OG. He knows all about these coins. He's going to give us the history, and he's going to tell us what he thinks about this one specifically. He'll be coming on after Alex. We already have a bid on this. This is at the reserve, half a Bitcoin, reserve hit by Sats Life. All right, what else do we have in play? That wasn't enough. We had to add in some frogs, all right? We had to add in the frogs. Rare Pepe market. We have 10 Rare Pepe auction lots. These are from original Rare Pepe artists as well as a couple collectors. These are some of the dankest and the rarest Pepes that out there, all right? And there's a whole history behind these. We're going to get into them. If you're not already familiar, are open for bidding. These auctions, they end in 24 hours, okay? So these are the first ones you got to keep an eye on here. We're going to have Rare Skrilla on to tell us all about the Rare Pepe story, and we're going to go through each of these lots individually. But I'm going to take this chance to give you a preview of how you bid in a Lightning auction if it's your first time here, all right? So we're open for bidding. We already got a bid on the board here from Tweetius. All right, if you want to bid, you come down here, you put in how much you want to bid in sats. We do the conversion to USD for you. We tell you how much collateral you have to put up. It's about 1% of your bid. Also, put in an email address. This is how we verify the winner. It can be any email address as long as you have access to it. If it's your first time inputting that email address with a bid, you'll also input a display name. That's what actually shows up here in the bid table, all right? Your email address stays private. Once you select place bid, we'll give you some more important information, and then you'll be directed to pay your collateral, in this case, 68 cents in Bitcoin. Okay, you can pay that on chain, but you're going to pay fees on that, and it's going to take a little while. So we recommend paying that on Lightning. It's instant. It's basically free. All right. If it's your first time on Lightning, we have some wallet options here that we recommend for you. What else is important to know? Oh, if you're really serious about bidding on any of these, we recommend Satoshi mode. Okay, what this means is you come here, you register your email address, just put in your email address, create a password. We send you an email, you click a link. We just want to make sure you own that email address. And then you can place put in a collateral payment, a bid deposit of 1 million sats. All right, that's about 340 USD. Once you do that, you unlock unlimited bids, not just for this one auction, but for all auctions in the event. All right, so that's the rare pepes, that's the Casascius coin, that's Wells Fargo in flames. You can bid as much as you want. We have your deposit of 1 million sats. As long as the high bidder pays their full amount within 4 hours of the auction, everybody gets their collateral back. If they do not pay, second place has their chance to pay their high bid. And then as soon as it's paid for, everybody gets their deposits back. So this is just a deposit. You get it back as long as you pay up your full amount if you win. Also important to keep in mind, the final 10 minutes is what we call the hot zone. Any bids placed within the final 10 minutes, they reset the countdown to 10 minutes. Auctions cannot end with a pending bid, and on-chain bids are no longer accepted. So you want to make sure you have Satoshi mode unlocked, or you're set up on Lightning to really compete in those final 10 minutes. And things do tend to escalate in those final 10 minutes. All right, I think that's all the important stuff I have for you. Let's get into the meat of the conversation here. Special guest, I'm going to welcome on Mr. Schaefer. Alex, how are you?
Great. God, it was really great listening to all that intro stuff. I love it.
Oh man, that was a mouthful.
I mean, it's all about just getting commerce happening in Bitcoin, and even if it's T-shirts or art,
Well, thankfully, artists like you and the collectible scene in Bitcoin, and the OG NFTs, they give us plenty of options. So it's beautiful to see it finally all come together in one event.
Yeah.
And look at this, Wells Fargo in flames. We got a lot to talk about, Alex. And by the way, love your T-shirt.
Thank you. Look at that. Fits great. And I gotta say, this is like a really good T-shirt. Like, it's thick and well printed. It fits great. I love it.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time trying to figure out the right printer and the right T-shirts for this. And I'm really glad you're wearing this, because the Wells Fargo and Flame T-shirt, it's going to be the same T-shirt and the same printing. So you can expect the highest quality that we've come across in some pretty extensive research.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Awesome, Alex. Well, all right. So where I want to start here, there's a lot of places we can start, but there's one story that I know is out there and I have not gotten from you, and I'm dying to hear about it. As you're painting these banks in flames, you got a citation, a ticket of some sort. How about walk us through that story?
Yeah, that was way back in 2011. It was like around July, and it was a it was a Chase that was out in the Valley, and a lot of these Chase banks were old home savings and loans, so they were really kind of cool architecture. And so I was activated and angry after the bailouts. By 2011, we'd had enough news to learn what was the cause of the bailouts. People weren't getting punished. There was no justice being served. And so I was just like extremely pissed off. And I have always done plein air painting. I love setting up an easel and painting in the streets, in the city, here and there, wherever, up in the mountains or the sea. And so I set my easel up right across from this bank and was painting with the intention of eventually just making it the roof on fire, It's almost like a stereotype, right? But I was out there for about 3 hours, and then I started throwing the orange paint around and really making something happen, not making any kind of scene whatsoever, except just being public. People talking to me, oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, they took my grandma's house, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was, the kind of reaction I sort of thought I would get, I guess, from the general public. But somebody probably from the bank, called the police, and they came up and flipped a U-turn on, Victory Boulevard. I think it was on Van Nuys or something, and jumped out of there, just walked right up, and we're like, "Excuse me, we've had reports about something going on here," and this one guy just kept saying, "Do you hate the banks?" I just remember distinctly, like, that was this question that kept repeating, like they wanted that language. Oh, I hate him, and because then it was like I'm doing a hate crime or something. I don't know, right? So yeah, they wrote up this incident report. That's what's in the corner of that image there, and they took my name, and I produced my driver's license, so they got my address, and I was kind of like, what is all this? And they didn't really say, and it wasn't 3 weeks later that I had 2 people come to my house.
Wow.
And that was, again, all this was before Occupy Wall Street, but Occupy Wall Street, everybody was so mad at that time. Finally burst into something. But this was all happening like right before all this public outcry came out, and it was just like, wow, I felt amazing. Like, this is going to change something, right?
I love how you decided to paint this in, as you call it, plain air, instead of just taking a photo and turning it into kind of performance art of actually painting the bank, taking the risk, kind of full skin in the game. And I love that you're also getting people's reactions as you were doing it.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about, I look at your background, and we have a little bit of it on the auction page here, but this is just a small taste of it. You have a serious background as an artist. You've been bleeding art, it seems like, for quite a while now. Take us through your background.
I mean, yeah, that's like one thing I want to say, especially just to make a point to collectors. Like, I mean, I'm like old. It suddenly happened, and but I've been plowing away and self-sustaining through my own contributions as an artist. First in video games for about 10 years, way back in the 90s. I worked on all the Nintendo and Super NES Disney products that came out, working for Disney Interactive at the time. And then I moved from there with a team of geniuses over to the very beginning of Insomniac Games, and was part of the team that did Spyro the Dragon 1, 2, and 3. And, I've continuing to just paint the whole time. I mean, I have painted for 30 years. And so there's a broad body of work. There's a lot of art sold out there in private hands. And people love the burning banks, but I do sell regular old seascapes and cityscapes and portraits and weird abstract stuff and still lives and all sorts of things. Finding freedom with selling through the internet, and then taking advantage of swapping art for Bitcoin as much as I've been able to.
Yeah, I definitely want to dig into a lot of that, but I'm first curious, how did you stumble upon the idea to paint one of these banks on fire? Where did that idea come from?
It was just a weird idea that popped in my head, and it was something that was just so perfect for already having a lot of experience of doing cityscapes. It was in my wheelhouse per se, and it was like a powerful symbolic image that expresses, frustration, awe, anger, just a physical painting, interesting painting, and it just, it was just like a lightning strike. I mean, admittedly, by 2011, I'd started watching Max Kaiser, and he definitely was like getting everybody pissed off at JP Morgan, Yeah. And he was, inspiration for me to stack a lot of silver, and and so I just believe in that. I believe in having things that are outside of the dollar system at this point. Sadly, they fucked it up.
Yeah. So we got to get into that, but so
or graciously, thank God they fucked it up. Finally, like something new can happen.
Well, thank God we have a solution, right? Like an alternate path. So how did you get into Bitcoin? You were watching Max Kaiser. You were stacking silver.
Definitely watching Max Kaiser. I mean, probably everybody out there wishes that they listened to Max sooner.
And no doubt about that.
But I can just say, fortunately, I got some friends that it's from the time I worked in video games. You meet a lot of programmers.
Yeah.
And I've stayed in touch with a couple of guys, one in particular who was a musician but also a programmer and early into understanding with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and BSV and all this mining it and stuff that is, admittedly, I might be the dumbest artist in your group when it comes to like the programming end of understanding Bitcoin, but like I'm glad that I have friends like I did who were like, hey, I'm going to help you then set up a wallet, and I'm going to get this, and you're going to figure this out, and I was like so grateful.
Everybody has their own journey through it. Nobody understands it completely, and every day there's something new to learn. So it's it's every Bitcoiner's responsibility to try to help others who are making their way through it.
Yeah, and like smile upon the work of everybody kicking ass in El Salvador, because that's like the real use case reality little micro test, like training people and getting businesses and the public up to speed on, coming up with applications that simplify it, because it has to be simple. That's one thing about, that is advantageous, that the dollar has as an advantage, is it's like, people get it in a way,
Well, they get it as much as they need to, right? Which is, and it's the same goes for Bitcoin. It's not like everybody in El Salvador needs to understand all of the intricacies of the Bitcoin network. They just need to know how to use their Lightning wallet, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It's such a fascinating story. I've been following Bitcoin Beach for a couple of years now, and I always had a ton of respect for the project, but admittedly, I saw it as kind of just a cool experiment. And to see what it's become is just so amazing. It's such kind of the hero's journey. And it makes so much sense too when you in hindsight, like I didn't see this coming, but we're talking about banks here, and 70% of the El Salvadorian population is unbanked, right? Like the banks have disregarded the majority of the country's population for forever. And now finally there is a solution in Bitcoin to get a lot of the benefits of banking, plus a whole hell of a lot more. And it's amazing to see it come to life, and it's amazing to see the courage of the government to do what they can to support it.
I know, man. I'm praying for him. The Savior.
It's going to be fascinating to watch.
It's just scary because, like, everyone knows what they did to Jesus. They put him up on a cross. It wasn't fun.
And I mean, Latin American history is full of stories of U.S. and the powers that be interjecting when they're not happy with the decisions made locally. So
yeah.
It will be
one thing I always like to say about these burning bank paintings is, I kind of like tongue in cheek, I'll quote this quote that Picasso said, because there was a point when Picasso was moving his painting of Guernica from like Spain to Paris. And, that was when it was like Franco and a dictatorship, and Guernica was like this terrible bombing. And he was getting hassled bringing the painting through customs because, it didn't make Spain look good. And the customs officer was like, "Did you do this? Did you do," pointing at the painting? And Picasso said, "No, you did."
Nice.
It's like, it's a great comeback, like the abuse that the dollar has taken since like basically I was born, 1971.
Yeah.
It is a freaking crime to have been lied to on the scale. And I am amazed that it's been dragged out this long. I mean, I really thought like it was imminently in much deeper trouble. I had no idea how big these bailouts could get,
Yeah, I hear you. I was just old enough to really understand what was going on in 2008. And I was kind of obsessively watching it all, just because it felt like we were living through such an important time. And I'm with you. Like it felt like it was all going to collapse kind of imminently. And I'm just blown away that they've been able to kick the can as far as they have to this point.
I know, but look at it's an untenable situation. I mean, I really think that the powers that be are just kind of like just going to drive it off the cliff, And Blackwater is just, and God, there's another one that is just right there at the spigot, getting cash and buying every home in the United States. It's like,
isn't that so disgusting? Like
I hate it, honestly. Okay, can I just say something? I truly believe. Okay, I love, like, when I think about painting, I really tried to figure some things out, solidly understand things and to take things apart. And looking at the problems that beset America and the world, and on a personal scale, on a interpersonal scale, like and then in the levels of the cities and the states and across the country, so many of the I truly believe so many of the problems would be lessened if the money wasn't such a nightmare that it's turned into. I mean, I swear, we would have less depression, we would have less suicide, we'd have less overdoses, we'd have less drug addiction, there would be less xenophobia, less racism, there would be more prosperity across the board. Everything would be better and would be positively impacted if the money was not corrupted the way that it has been, And then for the public to just have been completely hoodwinked about how money is created and how budgets function. We've been lied to this whole time.
Oh, I'm with you 100%. And your words really struck me reading this description here that you put together. Your writing skills are beautiful, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
As I've read this, I just got totally charged up. But yeah, it's like, when you can't trust the money, of course, it's hard to have trust in society.
Yeah.
And there's no way, you could. They faked it for a long time, and you could kind of believe them for a while there. But at this point, if you're paying any sort of attention to what's going on, you just cannot believe that we live in a fair society.
I know.
And it starts with the fundamentals. It starts with what's at the bottom of all this, and that's the money system. Like, you got to have the money right. And if you have an honest and transparent money system, who knows what we're capable of? Societies are built upon trust.
Oh my God, I know. Because like the Defense Department has had a blank check and has never had to bicker over a single penny, especially since 1971. Period. But anytime that there's been like, oh, well, we want to spend on the public and public spending, we want a good education system. We want, healthcare that works, and encourages health and blah, blah, blah. Then it's suddenly like, oh, well, where are we going to find the money? We got to raise your taxes and we're going to have to cut this program. And where's the money? We
Right,
have
there's
to find
consequences.
it. Fuck you.
Yeah.
They never had to find shit. They created a money tree in 1971, and they told us that the U.S. government has to function the way a household functions. It's bullshit. Like, that is bullshit. That is completely snowed,
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I mean, it's
So I get all these thoughts in my head, and then I'll turn the painting upside down, and I'll just go like fucking flames, and get a bunch of yellow and orange, and
I love it.
go
So
nuts with it.
let's talk about that. What do you think? I mean, we're obviously at an important time in society. Thankfully, we have Bitcoin that offers hopefully an opportunity to improve things. What do you see as art's role in this pivotal time period?
Oh man, I mean, art. I always kind of think of, maybe it's my own self-esteem issues and stuff, but I mean, the people that are really changing the physical world are like the computer programmers. The artists are maybe changing opinions, but we're kind of also living in a time when it's harder and harder to be opinionated and not just completely like thrown into one giant category of wrong thinkers.
Well, it's an important point. I mean, it's the narratives. The narratives, they shape people's thoughts and their beliefs, and the decisions they make. And
Yeah.
I think that's the power of art, right? Is to shape the narrative.
Yeah, and like if there had been any positive impact to these burning bank paintings, I wish everybody had just at least taken their money out of a primary dealer bank. Like leave Wells Fargo. Buy your Wells Fargo in Flames T-shirt, and then go into Wells Fargo and close your account, and at least open up a bank account at a credit union with your Federal Reserve notes.
Yeah.
Get out of at least the big bail. If the bank got a bailout, it shouldn't have your money. Screw them. But even that, people still have Wells Fargo, and they're like, God, Wells Fargo sucks. Well, go, leave.
I love that
When I
idea.
talk about Bitcoin wallets to people, because people do ask me about it, and I basically, I try to say it's about as complicated as setting up a PayPal account, but then there's like a really important bunch of numbers that you got to remember, and you should have a file cabinet or a safe, and you should come up with a mimetic memory of it or whatever, and but sometimes it's just like it's too scary for some reason. It's you ever get that feeling when you're like afraid to press send on an email? You're like, ugh. It's there. It's a real thing. It's at the FUD.
Yeah, well, people are always afraid. They're always afraid to try new things, but look,
setting up a wallet is free.
It's free. It's really easy once you actually do it these days. But the good thing is, what gives me hope is it's just going to get easier, right? This is software is not static, right? It's always improving. To make a Bitcoin transaction today is way easier than it was 5 years ago, and it's only going to get easier. There's going to be more reasons, more applications to do it.
Yep.
So everybody will come around eventually. And what's beautiful is there's an incentive system to adopt it earlier.
Right. I'm totally down. It's that whole concept of legal tender, and at El Salvador making Bitcoin legal tender, that's like that's a big thing. And I think what people need to avoid the most, what must be repelled at all costs, no matter the temptation or whatever, is for the public to accept a Federal Reserve digital, that is the most evil use of a most beautiful thing, which is Bitcoin protocol, imaginable. You know, I mean, am I right?
I think you're right. Yeah, and I think it's going to be a temptation for some people, but there's no substitute for Bitcoin. The Bitcoin can't be printed to infinity like any fiat currency in whatever form it takes.
Yeah.
And people will learn that hopefully the easy way, but if not, they'll eventually learn it the hard way, I think.
And that's something interesting to bring up. That it is a literally there is a scarce number of them, even though it's a lot. Is like I always like to say, 1971 when Nixon closed the gold window, that was basically like they defaulted on their debts. They weren't going to be able to pay back the amount of money they were spending in Vietnam. The French knew it because they lost all this money in Vietnam. The English knew it, and so they were just turning dollars into gold. And Nixon was like, "Fuck, we can't keep doing this," and they closed the window. And then suddenly they realized, like, with the petrodollar, we can just like have infinite money. And in a way, they created like what they're calling now modern monetary theory, but with the Federal Reserve as the middleman, instead of the government and the Treasury just issuing the money directly. We never should have been able to afford all these goddamn wars. That's my bottom line. We shouldn't have been able to. Oh, hold on. Who is this? I'm hanging up on you, buddy. We never
Wells Fargo.
been able to afford, and it's like we should have been forced to have other decisions to negotiate or to use other strategies of dealing with our global neighbors, but we didn't, and that money was just used in the worst ways, I think.
Yeah.
At this especially.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when I first heard of modern monetary theory, I thought it was a joke. I couldn't believe that people took seriously the idea of just printing money with no consequences. I couldn't believe that they thought that there wouldn't be unintended consequences from fucking with such a complex and fundamental system. So wow, it just blows my mind that people actually take this seriously.
I know, and sadly, the people that would be in control of those monies, I mean, I don't trust them to spend it properly. I mean, we still benefit from a lot of the stuff that was built in, the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, and that was like an amazing era of crazy ups and downs and whatever. But it's just sad that it seems like it's just a big giant bucket with holes in it.
Yeah, it's just too much power for any human to have.
Right.
This, as we're talking here, I'm just thinking about the importance of your work here. And, everybody they say it kind of in close quarters, like, oh, I hate the banks, I hate Wells Fargo. To see your painting just be so kind of blatant, like Wells Fargo in flames, I feel like it shifts the Overton window just a bit to where people can, feel comfortable. And I've seen people in your Twitter engagement, get relief out of seeing this artwork.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, oh my God, I fucking hate the banks. I fucking hate Wells Fargo. Thank you for visualizing this for me.
Yeah. And I mean, I can't tell you how many prints that I've sold that this image has really, a lot of people see it. It's like more kind of iconic of this time that we're in maybe than I even recognize, because it's just happening to me, like watching your hair grow, you don't notice. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's an iconic series. It's kind of a trip that it's as well known as it is, because the art world, playing the art world game, it's not like the Olympics. Nobody puts you on a pedestal and puts a medal around your neck and is like, you are now a great artist. It's just, it happens organically. And I mean, I hear people go, oh my God, when I was in art school, my art teachers talked about you. And I hear that all the time. It blows my mind. It blows my mind.
Very cool.
And
So,
I'm
Alex,
so happy that it's like such old school painting, because I love painting.
right.
It's
Well, I think that's what people appreciate about it too. It has this kind of traditional look.
right. And it does have this singularity. It can be reproduced, but it does also have this one of a kind physical oil on canvas, woods, fabric stretched on wood thing. It has this reality to it that is one of a kind. And an interesting story about about Van Gogh. And not to say that I'm like anything close to that, but one thing that was interesting about him was after he died, he got more famous, and then for years later, every couple of years, or maybe times a year, and every now and then, they would find another Van Gogh. Oh, and it would be a big news story. Oh, they found a Van Gogh. It was blocking a hole in a lady's chicken coop. Oh, they found a Van Gogh. It was upstairs in the attic of a hotel in France that was abandoned. And so then for years they're like Easter eggs, and they'd hit the auction and they'd go crazy, and his fame kept growing. And so I think it's fun that I've been playing the art game as long as I have, because I've sold so much art to so many people. I mean, I don't even remember where it all is, but it's out there, and it's signed, and it's got my name written on the back, and those things will, if I amount to something, when it all comes together, it's these are all little Easter eggs out there that I even probably would be surprised at. I forget what I do sometimes.
Absolutely. Well, I think you have a really special series here, and we're honored to take part in the Wells Fargo of the series. I don't know if there's a bank that's more hated than Wells Fargo.
And I think this is a good one, because it is very much like the first one that I did. As far as the kind of the level of detail and the painterliness, and there's no figures in it, and so yeah, I mean, it's a nice second piece to really auction. Like that first auction that I did back in 2011 on eBay for that Chase on Fire, that was the big story. That sold for $23,000 bucks at the time. And I was like, holy crap, And so this auction with you guys is kind of like officially the second big auction. I'm stoked.
I love that.
I love you guys.
We love you, man. Thank you.
This is going to become like the eBay of the Lightning Network. It's going to get huger and huger.
That's what we're aiming for. But look, you mentioned the attention to detail here, and I just have to mention this and I haven't seen this in person, of course, so I can't fully appreciate it. But these close-ups just give you a little bit of a glimpse of how alive this painting is. Zooming out, I know it just doesn't do justice.
I appreciate you saying that. I mean, I really love that thick paint, the brush strokes. I love the French Impressionists and the painterly painters of the Venetians, and so that's that's my team. Team Juicy Paint. And I think it's interesting because so many amazing things are being painted digitally, and then but it doesn't have a tangible surface. The digital surface tends to be kind of smooth as glass. And so I think for me personally, as a painter, flaunting even more and more the physicalness of the paint is kind of like where I think paint should go. Because it's never going to have a certain kind of wow factor that can be pulled off with digital. Digital is always going to be a mind blower.
That's such an important point, because as digital art becomes, whatever your thoughts on it are, like it's going to become more popular. There's going to be more of it. So I think it's important for the physical art to differentiate, right? And
Right.
You have to bring out all of the characteristics of the physical artwork to fully bring that out and
Yeah,
do it beautifully here.
for a long time, like as painters grappled with the technology of photography, the urge to be even more detailed and hard-edged and rendered, because that's something that just comes by nature with the photograph. But then you had other artists that went the other way, the Impressionists. They were like, we can't even, we're not even going to compete. We're going to try to express a different feeling from color,
Right.
And it's just two different mindsets. It's like Raphael versus.
Absolutely. That's art, right?
Right.
So, Alex, tell us what else are you working on these days? What projects are you focused on?
Oh, I do have two. I've got more burning banks that are done, and I've got other pieces that I'm working on, work in progress. So those are always there. And then since I've moved to a new location from an undisclosed location to a more southern undisclosed location, I'm just enjoying exploring the nature and the city and the sea around me, like I did in LA for years. I would go up in the mountains and paint in Malibu and Venice Beach and paint in downtown LA and all that. So I just continue to produce painting.
Beautiful. Well, Alex, thank you so much for making this artwork. Thank you for everything you do. And thanks so much for coming on and talking with us. People, I think they know where to find you. You have your website here, paintwithalex.com.
Yep.
On Twitter, what's the Twitter handle exactly?
It's all Paint with Alex.
Paint with Alex. That makes it easy.
Instagram, Paint with Alex.
All right, Alex. Well, best of luck over the next
I appreciate it.
71 hours.
Now it's like
minutes.
I just have to breathe and relax for 2 days and 23 hours, and then it's all about the last minutes. Oh my God.
You never know what's going to happen in those final 10 minutes. But look, you already have some bids, some strong bids on the board here. Jeff is currently on top with 0.55 Bitcoin.
Great. Jeff, he's the man.
Jeff is the man. That's right.
Thanks for having me on, and thanks for the live stream. And I'm going to watch. So you're going to have the next cap.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to talk about the Casascius coin with physique. So stick around. It'll be an interesting one.
Cool. I will stick around.
All right. Thanks so much, Alex.
You'll take me off camera.
Yes, I will.
Okay. I'll watch on YouTube now.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you later, Chris.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, Physique. Are you there?
Well, yeah.
How did you enjoy that interview with Alex, and what do you think of Wells Fargo and Flames?
Alex is awesome. I like Alex a lot. I think he's very cool. And I do like the Wells Fargo work. It's definitely a vision of our times, metaphorically, without question. And the stunts Wells Fargo specifically pulled, even, I'm not an American, and viewing from afar, I see what they did. And they essentially got away with it. It's jaw-dropping in its criminality scope, and the fact that as a business they're still trading. It's mind-blowing. So Alex's work, and not just Wells Fargo, the other works he's done as well, obviously, definitely an interesting commentary on the times that have passed but are also of now and to come. I think they're works that work on quite a number of levels. It's prescient, I think, is the word I was looking for. So yes, I like his stuff very much so. And great listening to him. Yes, he's quite the character as well.
Isn't he great?
He's wonderful.
Yeah, well put. Yeah, I mean, what I love about Alex is he's the real deal artist, right? Like
yeah, what a background. Hey, yeah, wow.
It seems like he's been painting his entire life. He's just been living and breathing art his entire life. And to see him turn to activist art and specifically in support of Bitcoin, it's beautiful to see. And he does it so well. It's so authentic. You know, you can tell he just truly believes this stuff deep down.
Absolutely. I grew up with the smell of oil paint in my nostrils. My father was a pro painter, so when you listen to somebody talking about their life and their experiences, you can hear it.
Absolutely.
And with this work, you can see it without question of a doubt. So yes, that was a very illuminating chat. I enjoyed that for sure.
Very good. Yeah, and so for anyone who's listening who's not familiar with Physique, Physique is an OG Bitcoin collector, all things physical and digital. Physique has probably collected it. So we wanted Physique to come on and specifically talk to us about Casascius coins and get his thoughts on this Casascius coin up for auction right now. It's 2013 brass Bitcoin coin. It has half a Bitcoin on. Maybe a good place to start because can you give us like 1 to 2 minute background, the story of the Casascius coin from how you know it?
Well, the legend. How do you describe the legend?
Yeah.
Basically, I'll keep it actually quite short. A guy called Mike Caldwell came up with the idea of turning what was essentially a virtual product, Bitcoin, into a physical representation of that virtual product using QR codes and short codes. And over time, we've all got used to those. We don't actually think twice about those. But at the time, some of this was quite new. And so he allowed the physical transportation of a virtual currency. And he started off by using, I believe, a car wash token. He got a batch of brass car wash tokens stamped up.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and he also got some. One of the important things that often goes overlooked actually is the hologram. Even at the early stage, he recognized the importance of a tamper-proof hologram and the requirements from a security point of view that it would require and undergo. So credit to the guy from the outset. He saw the bigger picture even when thinking physical. And over time, he evolved those holograms. As you can see with the beginnings, it was an inkjet printer that put the codes on, and then over time they ended up having a window, as you can see with this 0.5 that you've got on the screen at the moment. You can see what's called the first bits, which was essentially the first 8 characters of the public address, so that you could check the funding of the coin. A useful site for anybody that owns a Casascius coin, and in fact it's one I've got on a tab right here, is casascius.uberbills.com. So if you do have a Casascius coin and you can see the first bits, that first bit of the public address, you can use that website to check it and see if it's loaded still.
I think I have that here. Let me see if I can pull that up. You're on there.
It's one of those.
Well, I have chain.so. Is that a similar?
It probably is.
Let's see what it tells us.
Yeah, you can still check the address details. With the Uber bills, it's an analyzer of all the Casascius coins that you've made. That gives you an idea of how many are still active and how many have been opened and stuff like this. But anyway, that particular coin, funnily enough, one of the most useful resources for someone like myself and others is the Encyclopedia of Physical Bitcoins and Cryptocurrencies by Elias Ahahen.
You shared this with me a while back. It was my official introduction to the Casascius coin. Yeah, and it's the Bible. It's the Bible, isn't it?
It is, because it's very useful. I mean, Elias did a lot of work. It needs updating now, obviously, with lots of new data coming out. But, you know, in terms of the Casascius, he did quite a lot of groundwork and talked to Mike quite a bit and got quite a bit of information together. And as we can see from the scarcity webpage, the particular one up for sale today, the 2013, there were 2,959 made. Now, let's see if we can we find an updated on that? Not easily. No, I've got 847 opened on Uber Bills. So that would make it around 21,000, 22,000 still unopened. So one of those things about coins such as this is that obviously everyone that gets peeled, and people have a variety of reasons for peeling them, those that remain get ever more valuable. And it's quite interesting, isn't it, in the world of Bitcoin, that something that's already scarce, Bitcoin, is made even more scarce by putting on a token that itself is reducing in number in terms of its redeemability. So yeah, these do become ever more collectible, and over time their value sneaks up and up and up. They kind of catch you by surprise how these things become more valuable, and you go, oh yeah, premiums will drop, and they don't. Especially from such things like the earlier coins like Casascius, because they're trusted. You know, there haven't been fake coins doing the rounds. They haven't been intruded. Mike hasn't run off with all the private keys, important details. And so far, all of the keys that have been peeled and revealed have stood up and can be scanned. So, you know, the integrity of the materials is sound. So they have an interesting place in the investment side of things. Now, I'm not going to proffer any investment advice, I might add, but from a collector point of view, it's like, well, if you put this amount of money down now, is it going to be, you know, will I recover it? Now, obviously, you know for a fact you're going to be getting half a Bitcoin straight away, plus those other things, the forks, but we don't go there.
Who knows what those will be worth by the time you peel it, right?
And well, yes, and I think that the general coin purist looks at these as Bitcoins. You know, there is other stuff, but the only way you'd ever recover that is to peel it, and the whole point of collecting it in the first place is to keep it intact. So it becomes kind of a moot conversation, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's such interesting way you put it. You know, we talk about low time preference with Bitcoin all the time. It's like the ultimate test in low time preference. How long can you hold your Casascius coin for without peeling it, right? And those who hold out the longest are likely to be rewarded.
Yeah, and as I say, everybody has a reason for peeling it, regardless of how they may come into it. It might be an inheritance, it might be a trade, it might be whatever reason, but it might just facilitate the movement of funds from A to B. That's ironically the original use of the token, was to just show that you could move this value around. So yeah, over time. Now, that's probably the better question is how long? Oh, good guess. How long is a piece of string? Obviously, there are, as we can see, quite a few thousand in circulation. But in the grand scheme of things, a few thousand is not a lot amongst 7 billion people. And then you get into that other conversation very, very rapidly, which is the rabbit hole conversation of there's only 21 million and there's half of one right here.
Yeah.
So that's quite a lot of value all of a sudden in a token that's very portable, trusted, you know, to this date, no intrusions, no issues. So yes, it has a lot of merit suddenly, and you think, it's quite a useful tool as well as a collectible.
I think it in my mind, it's become the most iconic Bitcoin collectible. You know, I discovered Bitcoin after the whole Casascius movement. I wasn't around in real time when it was happening. So I've only come to learn about it through the legends, right?
Yeah.
And, they're no more being made. There's becoming fewer and fewer over time as they become peeled. And it feels like it's like the ultimate, I hate, this is going to sound cringe, but this is just the way I think about it. It's like the ultimate OG collectible, right? Like we have so much fresh blood coming into Bitcoin, and they have no idea of this collectible, and eventually they'll discover it. And there's only going to be so many that can be held by the true OGs in the space.
I would say it's the most recognizable, okay, because the true OG probably goes to bit bills, and that's an interesting conversation if they ever come up for auction. Because it's this conversation about first physical representations. So there's another rabbit hole for another day.
Yeah.
But these are without question the most recognizable and the most popular. And we've all seen it on news articles, the stock pictures of collections of them with their hollows up and the face up and all this kind of stuff, stacks of them. And it's the most recognizable. And in fact, it prompted a little bee in my bonnet at one point in time, where it was like there was lots of Bitcoin orientated and themed art using the MJB metals with the circuitry and all that kind of stuff, which is a nice coin design. But it didn't feel like original Bitcoin design, because this is what kind of kicked it off. And one of the reasons I love this coin is because of that simplicity, the very simple quarter design, the B, etc. It's unfussy, and it was instantly recognizable. That's maybe me just being, like I say, a bit fussy. But
no, I mean, look, I think your point is sound. If you Google search physical Bitcoin or just Bitcoin in general, you're going to see some Casascius coins pop up, and it's because that simplicity has made it just kind of the de facto representation of physical Bitcoin, and it's
become the classic, basically.
It's the classic, and so many people are searching for it too, especially when you first discover Bitcoin and you're like, what is this thing? I can't touch it. They want something they can touch. They want something they can see in real life, and that's the beauty that the Casascius coin started.
It is interesting, actually. Many years ago, I used to carry Bitcoin around with me, and you try to get the conversation started with the people about Bitcoin, and they wouldn't get it. And then you'd hand them a coin, and they go, there you go, there's Bitcoin, and it's worth this much.
Yeah.
And because they saw a token, they were like, so it's worth X amount. And yeah, just imagine like it was a gold coin, but it's not a gold coin. It's a brass coin worth X amount. A gold coin is worth, say, £1,000, and this one is worth £2,000. It's just a token. It means money. And it was almost like you could hear a penny drop. Right. However, when you started the wallet conversation, it got more interesting. I digress. But yes, one of the things I love about these coins, actually, as you're just looking at the photo you've got up there, is you catch them in the right light. Look at the colors on that. The hollows are glorious.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
And being privy to handling quite a few coins in my time as a collector, it never fades. Every time you look at one, it's just like you catch it in the sunlight and you go, oh, look at that. Oh, it's glorious. It never goes.
It's a quite a different experience than looking at your UTXOs in your wallet, isn't it?
Oh, very much so, yes. One thing to note, it's collectors, as Bitcoin has become more popular into the mainstream, regardless of whatever that may be, there are more collectors and buyers coming out of the woodwork. Now, some will buy them as a means by which to buy more anonymous UTXOs, and some of them just because they want the history. They are genuine. I would say they're the more genuine collectors, because they're the ones that are actively trying to reach back into the time of Bitcoin's past and maintain a thread and go, yeah, I get it. I like this. So it's an interesting market because, yes, the amount of coins getting peeled still happens. I should have brought that. There's a particular site. Is that a motorbike near you?
Yeah, sorry about that. The city doesn't shut down when I'm on the live stream, unfortunately.
It certainly doesn't. There's a particular Twitter handle. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it tracks Casascius coins peeled, and they do get peeled. You know, as I said right at the beginning, there's a number of reasons people will do it: emergency, necessity, or just because they don't know what else to do. That's one of the other things, is they just don't understand them enough even now to just go down the rabbit hole and learn more. They just go, no, I know I can peel it, bang, there you go, I've turned it back into digital. So yeah, there's a decreasing number. As an asset in themselves, it is still an open debate. There are a number of collectors that will say, well, you know, over time this might not do so well, and there's a large group that say, well, if the asset on board is still going to increase in value and these tokens, you know, are declining in number, then you do the math, it goes one way. So yeah,
if you believe in scarcity, then you have to believe in the Casascius coins.
At which point I'm reminded of the gladiator meme. Oh, is that not why we are all here? Are you not entertained? And it's kind of like, well, scarcity, is that not why we are all here?
Exactly. Exactly. If you understand Bitcoin, you have to understand the value here.
Yeah. So yes, a glorious coin. And from a good friend of mine, Miner Jones, actually, as well. So we know it's a good source as well. Always a good point.
That's right. That's right. It's important to call out Miner Jones, who's is about as prolific in the physical Bitcoin space with Mantis
Indeed.
cryptos as you could possibly be, from my understanding. This is actually from his personal collection.
Yes, indeed. Well, I didn't know about the personal collection bit, but yes, he's one of the foremost retailers, sellers in the USA, I would say, and has built up an exceptionally good reputation via Bitcoin Talk over the years for sales. So, and it's a graded coin. One of the, is that correct? I'm saying here, or is it not? Hang on. Or is that just a picture? I need to see that. No, it's not a graded coin. Okay. So that will come in a capsule. So one of those things about when you see coins being displayed and people take them out of the plastic casing or wherever they're held safely without fingerprints, and people handle them, and you can hear a million numismatics around the world heartbreak. Hot fingerprints, oh my god.
Yeah.
You know, and that they may seem small details. I learned a lot becoming a collector in the more recent past, specifically about coins and numismatics, and handling coins is an art. You don't just put your grubby paws all over them. You know, you use gloves and you treat them with respect. That thing about becoming collector's items, if you want them to endure, then you want everything about them to maintain their best integrity. And so acids and greases on your fingers can transmit over to coins and all this kind of stuff. So it pays to pay attention when collecting coins. They're small details, but they are important over time. And if you're buying something like this to collect, you do need to pay attention to that kind of detail.
Absolutely. Such an important point. Well, Vizik, thank you so much for coming on and schooling us in this kind of important artifact in Bitcoin history. Really do appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. and good luck with the sales, everybody. Alex, Mantis, and the Rare Pepe guys, which I believe you've got coming on next. So yes, I shall be listening with interest. Cheers, Chris.
Cheers, Physique. Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. All right, so next up we got Rare Skrilla. Skrilla, how you doing, man?
What's up, Chris? You hear me okay?
I hear you loud and clear. You sound great.
Good. Yeah, I'm on a little vacation. Just took a break from eating a bushel of crabs to come tell everybody about the exciting opportunity to own some vintage NFTs. Before the term NFT was a thing, and really Rare Pepes aren't even NFTs anyway. They're FTs, but for the most part. But NFTs become so meta that we've gone here. But yeah, thanks for having me, Chris. I was trying to tune in and listen a little bit of Alex and Zeke. I caught most of Zeke's chat. It was good. And yeah, excited. I'm excited that people are able to, buy Pepes, man. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I'm excited, but people that have the opportunity to own a rare Pepe and have like this alphaness about them, like they should be the most excited. It's almost when you go up to somebody, you meet somebody, you're like, yo, pleasure to meet me. You know what I mean? Instead of pleasure to meet you, you're like, it's pleasure to meet me. That's what Rare Pepe, DJ Pepe, hip hop Pepes, braggadocio, alphaness on the blockchain, on motherfucking Bitcoin. Chris, what's up?
Yeah, let's turn it out. We're talking Pepes now. I feel like I need a bottle of tequila and just start chugging it. Well, hell yeah, man. Let's jump straight into this. Like, all right, so some people listening, they know all about the Pepes. They're full on Pepe degens. Give us 30 seconds, 60-second background for maybe some of those listening who are not on that level.
Well, let's see. Rare Pepe started in early September of 2016. A guy named Mike, who's kind of like the Satoshi of NFTs. He's never been visually. A couple people know who he is, I think, but generally nobody knows who he is. And he kind of disappeared from the community. He made that one that you're seeing right there, that Nakamoto card, the Rare Pepe, and he made the first 3 in the series, and then it took off. From what I understand, I was like member 100 that came in about a few weeks after the launch. I had heard about it on Twitter, and I went down the rabbit hole trying to find these Rare Pepes and who was making them, because I was super interested in art, and music and blockchain crap that was going on. Just the talk of it and the opportunity to, I was into XCP. I actually owned some XCP. I was trading, and I was into Spells of Genesis a bit. So like when I heard about the Rare Pepes, I was like, I got to figure this out. And yeah, it was crazy. It was the first year of Rare Pepes was like pretty magical. Like the whole crypto art scene pretty much blossomed from the Rare Pepes. I mean, and even the people from the Rare Pepes space, like a lot of them branched off to other projects that you see on all the other blockchains. I mean, there's a Rare Pepe in every community in blockchain art. If there's not, then it won't succeed. Like, honestly, the Rare Pepe is the magic of the blockchain. And I know people might say think I'm joking and shit, but I'm actually serious. Like the Rare Pepes are magical. Like at least six different entities have tried to come and make the Rare Pepes. Even like the originator, Matt Fury, is trying to do it on Chainsaw. Like we did it here because the community did it, because they were bored. It was a bear market. We had nothing to do, and we were like, yo, we can make these crazy. We could put our memes on the blockchain. Like Rare Pepe was the essential Telegram meme for crypto. So it just, it was like a crazy moment of just mimetic magic with like Lord Keck, Satoshi Nakamoto, Mike, Joe Looney, Theo, Sean, and all the Rare Pepe scientists. The election going on, the Hillary Clinton playing herself with saying Rare Pepe the Frog is a racist character. Meanwhile, you go through the 1,700 plus Rare Pepes, you're not going to see any of that stuff in there. It was a fun moment. It was really ironic. Everything's ironic about it. And now, like, we never took it seriously. Honestly, it was always just trading, and we never all of a sudden people started valuing these things more, and it became more of a market and stuff. But we it's funny because we like the scientists probably tell you, like, the one of ones were shunned on at first. Like we were like, oh, you're not ones that people can collect. You're here to like make money, because everybody knew like if you had a one of one, it's probably going to sell for more. In the Theo Telegram auctions back in the day, because he was doing those from like, you know, nearly like the first like couple months out, and it was kind of shunned upon to have a one-on-one. You know, that's why they made, starting Series 4, you had to do at least 100 issuance. So the one-on-ones now are considered more valuable because the NFT thing, that's kind of become like the thing of one-on-one is an NFT. So there's really only 7 true NFTs in the Pepe directory. And then there's, I don't know how many, I haven't counted, but probably like 20 or so like burnt Pepes that have gone down to, you know, one-of-ones.
Okay.
Something like that. So.
Right on. Well, that's a pretty comprehensive background for us. I think that's a good place to step into your specific history with it as we kind of go over your lot here. You got a special lot for us here. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, so I'm putting up the Series 4 hip hop element series. You know, I come from you know, a hip hop background, and it's kind of like dominated my life. The 4 elements of hip hop always was a big thing, and so when I had the opportunity to make the 4 elements of Pepe, basically, I wanted to put the spin on that with hip hop. You know, so that's what it is. It's DJing, MCing, b-boying, and graffiti. The Pepe one there is the first graffiti card in the Pepe series. There's a few other ones that came about, and actually, that graph in the background is kind of light back there is actually from the MTA from graffiti crew from Staten Island.
No way.
Yeah, a friend of mine. They gave me it was Goal, who's a famous artist. Goal and shit, who's the other 2 artists? There's a couple other artists in there, but they gave me permission to use their graffiti in there. So I don't want to go. I know everybody hates the word first and all that shit, but I don't know, maybe the first graffiti on the blockchain. Not really, actually. That's not true, because Luke Jr. was writing graffiti on the blockchain back in the day for real. But you know, that's something to think about, though. It does have some real live graffiti artists on there, and Goal's a super well-known graffiti artist. And I try to just capture like what it was, you know, like especially the graffiti ones. Like I used to do graffiti when I was in high school and stuff, and it's kind of always kept, you know, stayed in my style. But like never posted a selfie. Like that like rings true with graffiti. Like it's underground. It's not. It's about the art, not about the person. And it's the same thing with Bitcoin. It's like no ego. You know what I mean? Like same thing with Pepe. When this was early on, like people didn't want to know who the creators were or the buyers were. Like this whole like transformation from 2018 to 21, where NFT buyers like, you know, put their name on their address, and you know everybody wants to be accounted for, and transparency. And I remember I was doing a Clubhouse recently and talking about how open diamond NFTs were cool, and they were like, "Oh, that's not cool. You can't see the chain of custody and all that." And I get it, that's part of it, but it's also like you can move things on the blockchain, you know, that are tangible items, and keep it off chain as well, kind of like, you know, what an exchange does. Or you know, you can do the same thing with like, these rare Pepe assets, because XCP is big, you know, it's put on Bitcoin. So, I don't know where I was going the hole with that, but you know.
No, I mean, I think that's an important point. Look, I mean, that's what makes the Pepes special. One of the things that makes it special is this is a real grassroots movement. It's about the rare Pepes overall. It's about the meme and everybody's interpretation of the meme. It's not about the artists or their ego. You know, it's about the collective.
Yeah, and that's like a point that I try to drive home to anybody that's not familiar with rare Pepes. Like this literally came from nothing. It wasn't any expectations. It was just people building up the community. People weren't having Twitter accounts with several people manning it and buying the floor and faking people out, trying to pump and dump and create new ones. Like the fun of this was basically, you know, early on. Like, when I speak about the rare Pepes, I mostly speak from like series like 20 and below, because after series 20 I wasn't around as much, but especially the first 10 series, like, and really you break it down, like the first like 4 or 5 series, those were like the ones that really made fun of like the ICOs, the Bitcoin celebrities, the crypto celebrities. Like Those were the ones that really were like, they weren't as artistic. You know what I mean? It wasn't about the art, it was about the idea.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and so many references to what was going on at the time, right?
yeah, exactly.
Cool,
Yeah.
man. So let's I want to go through each of these kind of quickly and just kind of get your thoughts on each one. No particular order. We're just going to start from the top left. First one we got here is the Hansel package by none other than Mr. Hansel. We got several cards in this slot. We got Pepe Bot, Pep Bot, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, Kekogs, Pepe Ranger, Beat of Pepe, Cult of Kek, Cyber Pepe. What you got any thoughts on this lot here, Skrilla?
Yeah. Mr. Hansel is you know, he's one of the most famous rare Pepe artists in the whole galaxy. So I mean, this is definitely a collection worth getting your hands on if you have the opportunity to. Yeah, I really like Mr. Hansel, and yeah, his cards are very popular. Actually, right now on the market, I know a lot of people looking for his cards. So
I mean, you just see like this dude's he's a real artist, right? Like, and he's got pretty good range here.
Yeah.
Going from like 2D to like ultra 3D. Like, I mean, the attention to detail in this Cult of Cat.
He was one of the first ones to come in and start really like arting out on space on the rare Pepes.
Interesting.
And it's funny because like when these people like Meme Conscious and Jason and a couple other people find us rares, and these people came in around series 10 or so, they made everybody kind of step their game up, and it started becoming more like into like art, and it really like, you know, you can see like we talked about it in other talks, but it's like the way that the series went, like it was kind of like you can see like certain themes that go through, and you'll see like the oh, this is hot, all right, people are gonna start making a bunch of like Lord Ket cards, or these are hot, people are gonna do hand drawn Pepe. Like the series 16, the whole 50 cards was hand drawn.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, I would say series 16, if you can get your hands on it, is probably one, you know, besides like series 1, 2, and 3. Series 16 is probably the fourth hardest series to get.
Oh, that's fascinating, man. All right. The hunt is on.
Mm-hmm.
It's so true, though, when you look at just go through series by series, you see the evolution of the styles. And it's like, I guess from my perspective, at first it started with, you know, the historical references and then like more traditional Pepe looks. And then, yeah, it becomes more complex. There's more animation. And more kind of just artistic style thrown into it. So you feel like as you go through it, you feel like you're kind of living through the discovery of the new ways to express Pepe.
Yeah, like even like the things you could do with the cards and like the quote unquote utilities that people started giving them. Everybody just started trying to like one up the next like best thing, because it's like you got to get attention on your card. Like, and then the more cards they got put into the series, like once you're in like you're over 500 or 1,000, like your card's going against all of them. So like, you know, at the same time, it was all fun. It was all like a friendly competition too. Like you go into the Telegram card group and you drop your card, and like if you get like crickets, it's like fuck, you're not gonna get any sales probably. You know what I mean? Like right away, and like right away sales is just like album sales. Like, you know, the first week is when you sell all your records. So if they're not moving, then nobody's gonna keep moving on them.
Yeah, so, I mean that's the brutalism of the free market, right? And everybody learns from it, and you know, they iterate on their styles because of it.
Yeah, and it's funny actually, because some of those cards that didn't hit initially, it means that like the Pepe creators might have like all but like 1, 2, or 3 of them. So now those people, some of them, those cards were actually dope. They just didn't hit at the time of the sales, right? So now all these vintage NFT people are coming back, and they're looking, and like people have all these cards now. So like it's very interesting to see, because most people didn't get rid of most of their cards. I mean, I highly doubt anybody got rid of all their cards unless they were just pressing a 1 of 5s and 1 of 1s and stuff like that, which would have to be like the first 3 series. But very rarely were anybody, I don't think anybody was selling like out of the 100 series cards to say, like I'd be very doubtful if somebody said they sold all 100. Generally they gave away probably half and then would sell, you know, the rest. Like I can't stress the amount of giveaways that Rare Pepes went through. Like that's mostly what it was at first.
That's part of the grassroots experience, right? And people were
Exactly.
giving away Bitcoins in the beginning too.
Exactly. Yep. And that's
All
why I
right.
try to tell people, like, is like real quick, is like when people get into this space, like NFTs, let's say, like, and they go and they spend like 3 fucking ETH on like a new avatar that's gonna change next week to the new hottest thing, like. Yeah, like the community that got free shit and then made them community out of it, those are the ones that win. I mean, that's why CryptoPunks is winning too. Like even like, you know, like they were free. Like you look at like the token Uniswap token or whatever, it's free. Like people make markets out of the stuff that's free. If you just come in here hot and trying to like come in this market and like selling yourself for like $10,000, I don't think it generally doesn't work out unless you already have you know, a big crowd behind you.
Yeah, you know, the best approach is to come in as authentic as possible.
I
And
agree.
if you're coming out with like a clear profit motive, people smell that, and it's kind of hard to get them behind you. You know, they want to be part of something that's organic, that's, you know, just feels kind of grounded and real.
Yep.
All right. So next up we have Pepper Made. This is the analog collection. So not only do we have the Pepper Made digital asset, but we also have the original Pepper Made sketch from the artist himself, Zed. And along with that, we got a little shell here where Zed etched in one of his mermaids.
Nice. Yeah, honestly, I don't know much about this card. I remember it, and it's dope art. But that's dope that it's giving away the physical. I think that's a good look. When I saw this collection, actually, it made me go back and be like, damn, I wish I would have included one of the art. Yeah, I guess I couldn't have done it in this set, but one of the ones I draw, and I think next auction I want to do that too, like something like where the drawing plus the cards. Good idea.
Yeah, it's nice to, you know, a lot of people who are just getting into the digital assets, they want something physical to hold on to. So it's nice to have that that connection to reality a little bit with the analog collection.
Yeah, I made one called PWA, Pepes with Attitude, and I actually sold that physical drawing back in the day for Pepe Cash. Within the Pepes anyway, it was the first physical, you know, sold for Pepe Cash. Like the guy still has it. He's actually one of the rare Pepe scientists, but that's the reason I said it is because I see 1 million sats, and the physical I sold was 1 million Pepe Cash at the time.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
PWA, another one to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
All right, right on. So next up, what do we have here? We got Django's Rare Bits. So this is another multi-card lot. We got several cards in here. We got Rarer Perp. We got Dank Vader. We got Urjo Pepe. Again, probably butchering that. Sorry, Django. Pepe from Hell. Hillary Pepe. FSM Pepe. Leo Pepe Scams. This is a pretty heavy lot we got here. What do you think of this one, Skrilla?
Yeah, Django's another rare Pepe artist legend. He had to be in this for sure. He's also he's early on things too, man. I love talking to Django like over the years about just different things because he's always early to things too. Like Tezos, even like the Hen platform, he was like one of the first people to mint there. Just like the rare Pepe stuff, he was minting early there, minting strong. His cards always did well. I like that one a lot. There, I got a couple of those. The Turkish.
Or Trojan, yeah.
Prime Minister or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Django's got some tight cards. That rare Pepe, the first one you sent in, that one had a history too. This fire one, I remember. I don't remember exactly what, but I remember there being having some history to it. It might be like one of the first of its kind, whatever you call that going on there. Not animation, but something was up with that card. There's a story behind that card. Maybe the Django can say something about it.
All right. And of course, we got the Hillary Hates Pepe.
Yeah, like that's one of the early ones. Obviously, that's when the election was going on, so you see a lot of Trump and Hillary ones.
Yeah, common theme in the early series.
That's a nice one too. You know, it's kind of like you know, there is no God type thing. The Keck Magic and Flying Spaghetti Monster theory is all jumbled into one. And, you know, Bitcoin's a religion. Pepe's, are they a religion? I don't know. I guess that's kind of what this might be going towards there.
These pepes go deep, man. Sometimes you take a first look and you think it's something silly, but then you take a second look and you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's my interpretation of that one anyway.
Right.
This is funny. This is actually, just thinking about this right now. Leo coin, I don't know much about it, or Leo, whatever, Leo Punks or something. Robness, who used to go by Ground Beef Taxi, is one of the rare Pepe guys too. He's a crypto OG, especially in the NFT space. And he's launched something called like Leo Pepes or something recently. I've been seeing him, or Leo Punks or something. And now I just see this Leo coin. I don't know if it has any, I don't know what's going on. I don't know much about this. I think this might be like a overseas thing. I don't think this is because the Django's from, I think Switzerland or something.
All right. Yeah. He gave us something here in the description, I think. So what he did tell us is that 546 of these Leo Pepe scam cards are burned. So you do the math, 717 minus 546, not a whole lot of these still in circulation, referring to Leo coin and its Ponzi master, Dan Anderson.
Yo, hold on, what? This says Dan Anderson?
It says Dan Anderson.
So yeah, I don't know. That card must, when it was Series 2, yeah. I came in right after that card got released probably. I came in like towards the end of Series 2, so I don't know what's up with that, but Dan's my man. Like, that's cool.
I don't know who Dan is. I got this straight from Django.
Dan's a XTP guy too. He started digirare.com and Bitcoins and all that other stuff. He's been a rare Pepes a long time.
Right on. Sorry for the honking in the background. Ruckus is getting raised here in the city.
We need to get a story on that Leo one. I don't know about that one.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can chime in the banter channel and give us the inside scoop.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next up, we got Ji-Han Wu from Indelible Trade. What you know about this one, Skrilla?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite cards actually. Indelible is my homie. He's a fellow hip hop bred rare Pepe collector and creator. He's from overseas as well. He's shout out to the Quarantine Clan he's part of. Very deep underground group we have. But Ji-Han Wu Pepe, you know, he made of course the famous, if you were around in 2017, fuck your mother if you want fuck tweet. And that shit was crazy. I remember I tried to get
I remember that.
Yeah, and I hit up whatever his name is, the Open Dime dude, and I was like, because he had stickers for ordering Open Dimes, and I had a bunch of Open Dimes. I didn't need any, and I ordered them because I just want the sticker. He sent me the Open Dimes, and I still didn't get the sticker. And I saw him like a year later. I'm like, bro, the only reason I got those Open Dimes is to get the goddamn sticker. I still never got the sticker, but that's a classic. That's such a classic line. This Pepe is very rare. I think it was only 100 made, and I don't know, man. If I was a new rare Pepe collector, this would be one of the first ones I got for sure. It's got the laser eyes. I mean, how early?
Dude. Yeah, I think it's ahead of its time in a couple of different ways, and it took me a couple of looks to realize it. But you got the laser eyes before anyone was thinking about laser eyes, and just including an iconic tweet here from Ji-Han Wu. Like, now people are tokenizing tweets. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like a tokenized tweet back in 2017.
Yep. And he's got the memeable the ELE equals the guy's hat. What's that meme hat guy from Boston? You remember? You know the meme from like 2002? Yeah, it's like this guy who was a rapper from Boston, and that's the hat from him.
Many levels here.
Yeah, Indelible's got a new website coming out too that y'all should pay attention to. It's for rare Pepe collecting, so it's got some cool features.
Yeah, he was telling me about that. I look forward to checking that out. All right, next up we got Bachelor Pepe. I got the images cut off here. I got to fix that.
That's a very rare one.
very rare Pepe. This one is only, there's what? Only
25, I
there's
think.
25 issued. Series 2, minted in 2016.
Yep, that's a rare one. Honestly, this one is just, I think it's just big time because it's rare. It's 25 of them. It's Series 2. Not easy to get. Anybody, there's only 25 people that can collect the whole series. Well, not even, because there's rarer cars, but I mean, literally, there's 25 of them. Like, good luck. Good luck to
Yeah,
market much.
I think this was right before the rule got put in that you had to issue at least 100. So it kind of got in right before that. I love the story too from the collector. This is from Gretchino, big time Pepe collector.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me that he bought this card when his daughter was going into university because she taught him about the power of memes. And now he's selling it because she's graduating now. She's getting her master's. And he's selling it to give her a little bit of cash as she kind of starts her new life.
Well, that's amazing. Yeah. The last time I saw this one sell, I'm pretty sure it went for like 15 grand or some crazy thing like a few months ago.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. That'll be a good one to watch. All right. So next we got another super rare Pepe breeder. This is 30 issued here. Another Series 2, super early, before the 100 issuance limit or requirement. One of the first NFTs, digital assets, to include the Doge meme. It's not the first. I think Spells of Genesis did it first, or an earlier series, but the first Pepe card to include the Doge meme. And there's many that followed. Doge is he's a prominent character in the Pepe series.
Yeah, he's a fellow meme. Doge is a fellow meme with Pepe, and they're kind of like the good and evil of yin and yang of memes. Probably sometimes the Doge is evil, like right now, and sometimes the Pepes are considered evil according to the media. But yeah, this is like a low effort, Series 2, like. Classic Series 2 type card. Like, it's very, obvious. Most likely an artist didn't make this. It was probably a trader or somebody in Telegram. And another one that's like rare. It's 30 issued. So
super rare.
Doge, man. Like, you just look at it. We were talking about Doge. Obviously anybody in crypto was talking about Doge back then. But like I guess I'm speaking like the Robinhood traders and everybody that came in recently and bought Doge for like 10 cents and made it to like 60 cents, and that's just crazy to me. Like, the fact that Doge even got to a cent is crazy to me.
Wild times, isn't it?
Very meaningful.
All right, what do we got here next? We already talked about the Skrilla Series 4 Hip Hop Element series, of course. So next we got Zero Wing Pepe.
Yo, so I don't know who made this one.
Oh, I do.
You do? Was it Mr. Looney?
It was Mr. Looney.
Okay, it kind of looks like a Looney card.
Apparently, that's not a well-known thing. That's what he told me, and he said it was okay to disclose it here. So I'm sure some people knew, but this is kind of official announcement, if you will.
This might be his. No, he made earlier cards than that. Yeah, this is an early card too. Was it Series 2?
This is a Series 2 card 2, only 50 issued.
Yeah, it's a very rare one, and obviously, all your base art belong to us is a super classic meme. So putting this in early in the Rare Pepe series just made so much sense. If Joe didn't do it, I think you would have seen it done very soon after, because that's like, I'm not a video game player, to be honest with you, but I know the meme from video game playing. I mean, so. Yeah,
he schooled me in this meme, because the first time I saw this meme was through this card, I think.
Okay.
And I assumed it came from the card, but I didn't know. But yeah, Zero Wing was a game, and this was somehow in the gameplay. This phrase came up.
Yeah, I guess some guy, I guess maybe I'm wrong, but I think the story I remember is some Asian guy was like, all your base belonged to us, and like, it was just a classic. I don't know. It wasn't right. I get it though, and so yeah. This one doesn't talk to me the way some pepes do. I'm not gonna lie, but it does in a way that you don't see it on the market ever. And like the fact that Joe made it, brings that extra value, honestly, because Joe is a master memer. So there you
go. Yeah. I just love this quote. I love how he
the quote
brought this meme to the pepes. All right, Joe. What do we got next here? All right, so we kind of talked about this, but this is Rare Pepe. It's the original Pepe, created by Mike, the Satoshi of the Rare Pepes. I mean, this is the one, there's 300 of these issued, but this is the one, anytime it comes around, it's a high ticket. It's one of the most iconic, I think, if you will, Rare Pepes on the scene.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any more iconic than this, in my opinion. This is
one. If you're a serious digital asset collector, NFTs, call them what you want. Like, you kind of got to have a Rare Pepe card.
Yeah, I think eventually there's gonna be a real, if the NFTs and everything keeps going, like, and the more people come into these collectibles and stuff like that. Oh, young Pepe in the house. More people come out, they're gonna want the Nakamoto card. I mean, this is literally the card that kicked off everything. I mean, you can't deny it. Like, I give Spells of Genesis and all the color coin people and all the whatever people that theorized stuff early on, but this is the card that set off the crypto art community. All the ideas being put into play, artists coming from anywhere to create, open platform. Collectors could collect, no KYC. This is how it was supposed to be done. This card kicked that off. This is like, this is like the light bulb of crypto art. This is the Thomas Edison and Tesla, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. This is the Torah. This is it.
Yeah.
Card.
Yes.
I was gonna say one more thing is because Bitcoin's down so much right now. You're looking at like. I think people might be able to get a good scoop on this if USD value wise if plays out right.
Yeah, in general, of course some collectors get skittish when price is down. So the collectors with some liquidity, they can scoop up some deals in this collection as well as the others.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to say, hearing Joe talk about this card really made me appreciate it to the fullest. That Spells of Genesis was before these were actual playing cards for the purpose of playing an actual game, and they were minted on Bitcoin blockchain through Counterparty. But what makes this really special is that while it has the appearance of being a gaming card, it actually had no utility as a gaming card. There was no game. Right? Like maybe, I know there's talks of a game and maybe one day there will be a game, but it was just created for the purpose of creating the card. So art, you can define in different ways, but in my mind, like creating something just for the purpose of creating it with no utility, that's art, right? So like, by my definition, this is the first NFT artwork, and I know people will argue with that, but I think there's a strong argument there.
There's a strong case for that for sure. Yeah. Jim, it's crazy how long it took somebody. You think about it, like it just seems so silly now. Like minting something, it's like I wouldn't do that. Like, but the idea back then, nobody just was doing it. I mean, Mike did it, and I mean, Joe and a couple of people will tell you those first couple of weeks, like. People were all about it. They scooped all the Pepes up. I remember ICO Informer or whatever that guy's name was came in and bought all the Rare Pepes. Like he's like, oh, you got it. There was like 50 of them on the market, I think. Grabbed them all, and you had to pay with XCP back then. And XCP was like a very valuable asset. It was top 10 asset and coin market cap and all that stuff. Like it was like the Ethereum for Bitcoin or whatever you want to call it. Not even that, but it was a smart contract, EVM, all that stuff. People were talking like. People were like, not trying to get rid of their XCP, that they were trying to stack it. So for
Right.
people to spend like 50 or 100 XCP at a lot of times, like on this card during the trading days, was a big deal because people were paying like, I mean, this is 2016, not the initial drop because it went like 5 XCP each or something like that. But after, a couple of people came in, there was 200 or 300 people in the collectors. Everybody wanted this card. And they were willing to pay 50 to 100 XCP for it, which
I lost you there for a second, Skrilla. You got super rope.
Time, this is $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. This is 2016. You there?
I hear you now. I kind of lost you there for a second. I don't know what the audience heard, but for me, you got like really slow and really robotic.
Oh, sorry.
That was probably on my end. But yeah. It sounds like even from the onset, when people were just treating this thing as kind of a game, people immediately saw value in this card, right? This set it off. People saw there was something special here and started to mark it up quickly.
Yeah, this card's always been looked at as like the holy grail of rare pepes. So I mean, yeah, this card. I mean, this card. There's no question in my mind that this card will be in museums. Like it has to be, and it will be. And anybody dragging their feet on that is just making themselves look foolish over time. To be honest with you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All
right, we got one more here. We got ICQ Pepe's acquisitions #1. Don't get reload. So it's important to really detail what's included in this lot. It's 3 repo Pepe cards, which is a series 3, only 100 issued, but it's also the repo Pepe asset ownership. Skrilla, you want to talk us through what that means?
Yeah. So first of all, shout out to ICQ. ICQ is a legendary Pepe himself. He's one of my favorite characters in the space. He's not really like an art. He's not an artist. He's actually like an acquisition. He's like a I don't even know how to explain it. He was being what the crypto punks and all that stuff was. He was doing that to rare pepes for anybody. Like he was just the guy behind all these like anonymous shills and like different personalities, and nobody knew what was going on. He was like the first character in the space in our community that was like, got banned, got kicked out. People, he really rubbed people the wrong way at certain times. I mean, everybody had some kind of bad interaction with ICQ. Yet he's like the most lovable person because everybody eventually gets to like love the guy. Like we don't even, I met him in 2018 at the Rare Art Festival. And even then, he like just showed up, didn't tell anybody he was there, and signed his name on the big paper that was there. And I like took a picture of it. I was like, showed some people. I was like, "Yo, ICQ is here, I think." And then he popped up, but he was very like he's a crazy dude. Like so. Anyway, ICQ, shout out to ICQ. But Repo Pepe, he acquired the asset, which a lot of people probably don't know if you're not into XCP assets. You own the asset and then you issue the card. So when you buy the card, you're buying the card. You can sell all 100 cards. If I issued, let's say I own Repo Pepe, got rid of all 100 cards, then I would still own the asset ownership. So then with that, you can create sub assets. If it was legal in your, domain or whatever, you could do like dividends and, you could do all types of stuff. So, it's a different type of thing that not around with other NFTs. So owning the NFT asset is kind of a new thing where people are trying to figure out like, what kind of value does that hold? There's a lot I think people can do with it that they haven't explored. Also, this is a early series card that you don't see much of. So getting 3 of them plus the asset ownership, I can see this one going for a nice little price here.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite cards. I don't know, something about it, like the pixelated car in the background and just the depressed and distraught Pepe. I don't know, it just speaks to me. So So when I saw this, when this was going up, I got but exactly, I feel Pepe here, man. The asset ownership, ICQ details it out here that, yeah, you can make T-shirts, socks, posters, or whatever. Look, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what, asset ownership actually gets you. But I think it is fascinating because a lot of people don't understand in the NFT space that you don't have commercial rights when you buy an NFT, generally, unless it's specifically stated. You're just buying the right, just like with any artwork, you're buying the right to, display it and trade it. That's pretty much it. Like you can't make T-shirts with the design. What it sounds like, from my understanding, is that this asset ownership, which is kind of special for, counterparty assets, it gives you those commercial rights. So if you have that, of course, you can issue the sub assets, right? So you can issue other tokens on top of this asset. But it sounds like you can do a whole lot more with it. You can commercialize it to however you want. Something I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be a hot topic in the NFT space going forward, and it feels like Counterparty just kind of naturally is a perfect fit for it.
Yeah, it's a good point. And if you think about it in that way, there's really only 1774, whatever, one of one rare pepes in that regard, because it's the asset ownership. Like you said, I don't think, like, in my opinion, I'm not a lawyer either. I'm married to one though. And I think that you can do what ICQ is doing and specify that selling the ownership gives, then it is what it is. But for instance, if I were to sell an asset, I would have to say whether or not the same thing. I'd have to tell you whether or not it's good to go or not, because it might be like an artwork I drew and I'm doing something commercially with it, but I'm still putting it on a card, issuing it, and then if I sold you the actual token, ownership too, then I would have to put in that, I'd have to specify that was the case. So I think that you can use the XCP contract in that manner, which doesn't seem to be easily done with like the plug and play on like Ethereum or Tezos or any other stuff. So it is very interesting. And I think that it is a way to transfer ownership of commercial rights in like a more simpler way. It could be anyway. And then, like you said, like the licensing and the sub assets and that type of thing, you could do something with it. So it's like a CryptoPunks. Like, I guess if you buy the CryptoPunk, you own, that image, and you can do what you want with that image, as far as I know, or up to a certain amount of money, even it might be capped at. With this, ICQ is doing the same thing essentially. I think he probably purchased that artwork from like an artist that designed it for him. If he even made, I don't even think, to be honest with you, I'm going to go back. I don't think ICQ probably was the original even asset issuer of this. So he probably bought the asset from somebody who made it. You know what I mean? Like, that's how savvy like ICQ is. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's like that guy. He's that character. Like,
he's the M&A of the Pepes.
Yeah,
making moves.
So buying something from ICQ Pepe, it's like getting your digital signature from fucking a legend, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think to cap this off, I feel like the legal rights associated with NFTs in general is still being figured out. But as those lines are drawn, it makes a lot of sense that the asset ownership is going to come with a lot more rights than you would generally get with just buying the regular NFT. So I think you're TBD on what that means, but there's real strong potential here.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah. Yeah, and XCP, like you said, XCP is built for it. It's on Bitcoin. The smart contract is pretty simple, but also you can do this with it. So it's already there.
Right, native.
I don't know why more people aren't building out XCP stuff, man. We need to. Hopefully, people like you and there's other entities that are promoting rare pepes more lately. Hopefully, people see the science behind everything that went into this and what it stands for, and we'll all, pop off.
Well, there's no doubt that we need strong digital asset scene on Bitcoin, and XCP counterparty, like this metadata is being written in Bitcoin transactions, right? So like it's not going anywhere. If you believe in the Bitcoin network, you know your rare Pepe data is here to stay.
Yep. Hold on one sec. What? Oh yeah, nah, I don't know. That's another conversation.
All right, we'll save that one. Skrilla, I'll let you go, man. Really appreciate you taking the time from the family and the Blue Crabs to join us and talk Pepes with us. We'll talk to you soon here. I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunities.
Absolutely. Take care. Thanks, Chris, and happy bidding, everybody.
All right, see ya.
Peace.
All right, if you're still with us, we're going to do a quick check-in on the auctions in the early hours. The Pepes, we got some bids on the board here. You see them, rarepepes.com, big-time collector making moves, early moves on some of these. We also have xer.co making moves. A lot more time here. We'll see how it goes. These are the first auctions to end. Okay, so we only have 22 more hours on these. They're 24-hour auctions in total. So if you want to make sure you're not missing out on anything, keep your eye on these first. You'll have more time with the others. Let's see what's going on with the other auctions. So starting off with Wells Fargo and Flames, Jeff holding strong, it looks like, with 55 million sats. That's 0.55 Bitcoin. Still a lot of time to go on this one. This one ends on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 2 days and 22 hours, 72-hour auction. Plenty of time to go. We'll see what happens here. Let's see what's going on with the t-shirts. Looks like 9 of these have sold so far. Current price is 115,000 sats. That's about 39 USD. Again, the price increase is 1,000 sats with each purchase. So if you want one, it's in your best interest to get in early. After the 72 hours, this will not be sold anymore. This is an exclusive sale. All right, so get in early. What else? All right, so the Casascius coin sitting strong at the reserve price. Sats Life is in for half Bitcoin. No premium on this one yet, but we got plenty of time. 48-hour auction. This one ends on Saturday, so keep it. All right, that's all I got. Thank you so much if you stuck around through all this. Thank you so much to our guests who dropped a ton of knowledge on us. It's going to be really interesting to watch these auctions unfold. We appreciate you coming through, and we'll talk to you soon.